Now, one thing we did see in Mexico that sort of might make that job even harder for McLaren, and in some ways it's actually worse for Red Bull as well, is a 1-2 from Ferrari, something we've not seen in the USA, as you know, was said a number of times since 2006, I believe. It's one of those things, at least in the USA, but it seems like one of those things that we've not seen for 20 years is a 1-2 Ferrari win with two really good drivers. They absolutely blasted it. They used their tyre wear in a high tyre wear situation at Kota, and obviously that's worked out well for them. Now Ferrari sort of peaked at certain strategic points. It would seem like over this current year. You obviously got the win in Monza, for Charles Leclerc, which is obviously what they will want, I believe. Yeah, and that's obviously the one race you want to win as a Ferrari driver, including also your home race, which Leclerc also won. That's the other time that's come up. Now, given the sort of, I don't know, this momentum that they seem to have started to be picking back up on, do you think Ferrari can maintain that, or what the odds do you think of Ferrari maintaining that to take second in the Constructors' Championship over Red Bull? Given that Perez, I don't want to harp on about him, but as much as yeah, he's going back towards where he should be, he's still not operating where he should be, and being along, Max would happen to wingman, I would say.
Yeah, he's not exactly wingman, is he? He is a long, long way behind. Maybe still even on the runway at this point relative to his teammate. I mean, it's definitely possible. This is I'm just looking up the previous winners of this event. Ferrari haven't won here since Alan Prost back in 1990. They haven't won in the modern era of the Mexican Grand Prix. But given the pace of the Ferrari, and you hesitate to really to write them off or to B say that they're going to keep going with this because it's so topsy-turvy, it's so unpredictable. I mean, I said going into the summer break with Mercedes winning, like, was it two of the three previous rounds, no, three of the four previous rounds before that, I said, oh, Mercedes, they could challenge for the Constructors' Championship maybe, and since then they've just completely fallen off a cliff. So it's hard to say for sure, but they were absolutely imperious around Austin, and you kind of alluded to a little bit there in terms of how Ferrari can do really well in this, because right now, I mean, it might not change the result of the race, given the pace of Leclerc, given the pace of Sainz. I don't know if it would have done, but it almost seemed as though, Red Bull could have kept Max Verstappen ahead of Carlos Sainz after the pit stop if they pitted him early, but they just seemed to give up on that and focus solely on Lando Norris, solely on the McLarens, which is obviously is their big battle. But as a team, their big battle right now is with Ferrari. There is 8 points between Red Bull and Ferrari. If we get a repeat if anything like what we saw in Austin in Mexico, we're going to see Ferrari take second in the constructors, and that really does put Red Bull at a big disadvantage. I haven't looked this up, and I will look it up, but I don't know when a guy has won the Drivers' Championship and his team's finished third in the constructors. I'm willing to bet it's been a very long time. I'm sure people will boot up Wikipedia and look that up, and I'm going to do the same after this as well. But yeah, Ferrari absolutely they can keep it going. They can keep it going, and they seem to race each other really well in the sprint. There was no teams orders there. Their pace there was fantastic. Their pace in the Grand Prix itself. I mean, Charles Leclerc won an absolute canter, a bit of a redemption arc, really, getting disqualified last year because of his plank wearing down, which I think stopped him getting a podium, or at least a finish in the top five, at least anyway. And to go and win like that was very, very impressive. And you never know, Leclerc he could get second in the Drivers' Championship. He could pass Lando Norris as this goes on. So I think it absolutely can continue, but it's so hard to predict because you've got three teams. I wouldn't put Mercedes quite in that bracket right now, but you've definitely got three teams that have real potential to win every single weekend. And as I know we're going to get onto, Mexico is such a unique circuit because of where it is, because of what the corners are like. We could see things flip on its head again.
Yeah, I think we normally will. I mean, one of the ways I always characterize Formula One is it always finds a way of raising the bar, and I feel like that's going to happen again, particularly with how, as you say, how close this championship has been, not just at the top, but all the way down with how tumultuous it's been just on the just the small, with the field being so close, just those small changes making a big difference. Hamilton going out, genuinely Hamilton was knocked out of qualifying by, I think it was a tenth of a second, so that tells you how much how small the difference is. Now obviously it looks spectacular, and was shocking, but as you say, it's very, very close, and it means that those small changes that used to not sort of change the order do make change the order quite a lot.